Hi, welcome to Mind Your Business with Insurance by Nicole Simpson, the Urban Cash Coach. Today we're going to cover three basic insurance topics for newbies, small businesses who are just getting started and need to have appropriate coverage. We're going to keep it simple today. We're going to talk about what's the worst that can happen to your business, how to protect your business from mayhem, and what's the price and a few buying tips. There are five common types of insurance: general liability, product liability, professional liability. You'll notice that we discuss the word liability quite a bit when we discuss business insurance. The reason for that is that most times businesses will designate themselves as some type of a business entity or a corporation, an LLC, or another type of business designation. By doing that, a business owner is saying that they want to be held separately liable for any type of business risk and not have any risk ever come into play against their personal assets. So once you've started a business and you've decided to separate things by creating an LLC, a corporation, or any other type of business designation, now your business itself is on the hook for anything that you may be liable for. So these types of insurances are going to create a pot of money that the business can pull from in the event that there is a judgment against them for causing someone or another business harm or damage. Another type of insurance that we'll cover is property coverage, also inland marine or business owners policies. So we'll get into what each of those are as we move forward. General liability. General liability is the type of insurance that covers against common lawsuits that arise from everyday business activities. It protects against customers' injuries, damaged customer property, any accusations of defamation, copyright infringement, libel, and slander. Product liability is very similar, only it's going to be specific to a product that your company manufactures, distributes, or sells. So it's going to cover a lawsuit if a product causes damage to other people or other people's property. Now, this type of insurance is very interesting and it can be unique because depending on the type of product that you sell, you may or may not have to carry product liability. If you take a product that's already been manufactured somewhere else and you place your label on it, that made you liable because now you're taking the responsibility by placing your name on it. Product liability is typically going to be required in the event that you are importing goods from out of the country because it's very difficult to have a lawsuit that goes across country lines. Or if you just simply manufacture or distribute anything all completely on your own. You want to have liability over that product in the event that someone gets harmed as a result of the product that you have manufactured. Professional liability. Professional liability insurance, also known as errors and omissions insurance, it can cover lawsuits over professional mistakes, including undelivered services and missed deadlines. These types of insurances are oftentimes applied to individuals who are in the area of insurance, like myself. I have to carry errors and omissions insurance. Real estate agents carry errors and omissions insurance. Doctors, attorneys, they carry something very similar to this, and it's going to be called malpractice insurance. So essentially, anyone who is providing a professional service that is somehow certifiable, possibly you needed a license or something to be able to show that you have some credibility, professional liability insurance is going to be one that you want to take a look at. This is also the kind of insurance that a hairstylist, a barber, a nail technician, a masseuse, all of those folks are providing professional services, and professional liability is one that often needs to be taken care of. One other area that we see professional liability very often, and it's something that's starting to be new, is influencers, social media influencers. consultants, public speakers, people who are sharing a lot of information to a large audience. And because they are doing that, people are taking what they say to be extraordinarily important and something that's believable and very credible. So, in the event that someone makes a professional mistake, gives out inaccurate advice, professional liability is the type of insurance that would most likely respond to a claim of that nature. Property or inland marine. Now, this one's fairly self explanatory. Property insurance covers the repair or replacement of business property if items are stolen or lost by way of fire, water, wind, or hail, or any other covered loss that may be listed in your policy. Uh, Sometimes there are other weather events that can also be covered with a property event. Inland marine. It's the exact same thing as property, except for it covers property that's not maintained at a specific location. So this is property that's going to be moving around from place to place. Oftentimes you see inland marine coverage attached to individuals who are contractors who have tools that move around, disc jockeys, people who have vending machines, anyone who has business property that is not going to be directly tied to the business address. A business owner's policy. I'd like you to think about a business owner's policy as kind of the equivalent to full coverage insurance for your business. Business owner's policy is going to package together general liabilities and property coverage based on what your industry is. So there may be some specific industry endorsements that will give you a more comprehensive coverage plan just based on the type of business that you do day to day. Uh-oh. Okay. Automobile coverage. Automobile coverage covers any vehicles that are owned by the business. If your business does not own any automobiles, then automobile coverage is likely not something that is required unless you have a specific contract. Hired and non-owned auto, that's when the business does not own any vehicles that they use for business day to day, but there may be some incidental times that they're asking employees or partners to use their own vehicles in the day to day operations of the business. So that may be something as simple as asking an employee to drive to another location to pick up some additional supplies and bring them back. Perhaps it's a mail run or a quick customer delivery in which your staff is using their own vehicle. In the event that they have some type of an accident that they're found liable for, if they are driving while they're at work, the business itself could be held liable in the event of a serious accident that causes damage or harm to someone's property or causes bodily injury to someone. So, this is really where the rubber meets the road. Imagine that this is your business location and you've rented one of the offices that is on fire now. Your intern has plugged in a heater into an extension cord and then she goes to lunch. When he comes back, the building is on fire. What kind of claim is this on your hands? Well, we've already talked about it. This is a general liability claim, probably a property claim, and most definitely someone's going to have loss of income. Your general liability your general liability insurance is going to cover lawsuits that arise from everyday business activities. It's going to protect against customer injuries and damages to customer property and accusations of defamation, copyright infringement, libel, and slander. So we saw this before. If we want to take a look at where we are in terms of liability, well, this is definitely not a situation of copyright infringement, libel, or slander, but we most certainly have a lot of damages to be concerned about. There's damages to the building that we rented, damage to other tenants' properties, visitors' medical bills and burns and smoke and inhalation, loss of wages for visitors who have sustained injuries, loss of income to other tenants, loss of income and rent to the property owner while repairs are being made, This policy, your general liability, is going to provide you with legal defense. They're going to help negotiate settlements and make sure everybody gets paid out, their medical bills and everything that they're claiming. They're going to demand non disclosure. So they won't have everybody who's involved running to the news and giving all the information about what's going on. They're going to pay for the damages to the properties. And in this case, the loss was $1.5 million. Now, in most cases, the general liability, just to start with, is going to be at minimum $1 million to $2 million if you're just looking at the standard coverages. Now, you're more than welcome to increase that coverage if you feel like you would like to. And if you're in a building like this and you're renting space, it may make a lot of sense to increase your general liability to higher than $1 million in limits, because in this case, you would still have $500,000 that would still be on the table, and your business may be liable for those damages. Let's look at the next part that needs to be covered, the property insurance. All the property is going to need to be replaced inside the building. All the desks, the chairs, the computers, any inventory, any build out or alteration that you've completed or that anyone else in the building has completed. Did you add any flooring or walls or paint and other fixtures? How about the other tenants? What's that all going to cost? You need to really know what your numbers are in terms of everything that you've moved into your location. And what did it totally cost for your build out? Do you want to replace the things brand new, or do you just want to have a check for the depreciated value? Business income and extra expense coverage may also be needed. In the event that you are in this scenario and there's such a horrendous fire, chances are there's going to be quite a bit of time before you're going to be able to get your operation up and running again. Libel and slander. Here's Judy's janitorial service. Judy's got a custodian whose cleaning company likes to tweet. And so she tweets a very rude comment about the sloppy work that was done by the company who had the contract before her. The competing business decides that they're going to sue her because that tweet that she made went completely viral. So, in general liability insurance, that's going to be able to help cover the legal defenses for any judgments or settlements that anyone is sued over in the event of libel or slander. Here's a professional liability example. Henry's Home Inspection LLC. He's a home inspector, and he leaves out some things in his home inspection report before these new buyers get ready to make their purchase. He leaves out the fact that there's a leaky roof and there's mold. Once the homeowner moves in, they discover that there's been an error and they file a lawsuit. That lawsuit, once it's traced back, that could be something that the professional liability insurance could respond to. Product accusation. Now, this is a product liability situation, and we learned about that earlier. So here's Susie Green Thumb, and this is her lawn care business. She's got an organic fertilizer, and she's been applying it to her own lawn, and all of a sudden she gets it sold to one of her loyal customers who uses the same thing, but this customer has an allergic reaction and ends up having to miss days of work. She blames the illness on Susie Green Thumb's lawn care service, and she sues her. A general liability policy would have to cover the legal expenses associated with the product liability lawsuit, pay for the damages, which would be lost in wages for the customer, and any medical bills that she may have suffered in the event that Susie's Green Thumb was found to be liable in causing the allergic reaction. Cyber insurance. Now, we talked about this already, but here's a good example. An employee of a car manufacturing company clicks on a malicious email, and all of a sudden, all of this spyware and malware gets downloaded onto the company server, and it causes all of the company information to be encrypted, and now no one can get in. A message appears on the employee's computer demanding $10,000 in Bitcoin to be paid in 48 hours in exchange for the decryption key. A cyber liability policy would likely respond to this type of claim. Now, here is a big one. So here's Miss Betty, and she saw you on Good Day Columbus, your regular old everyday news show where they like to show community events and bring all the local folks on. Because she saw your event, she decides that looks nice and I want to come and check it out. So she gets to your event and you've got a vendor there who's selling chocolate covered strawberries. And one of the strawberries rolls off the table, and the vendor doesn't realize it because she's talking to all the customers because that Good Day Columbus show, buddy, it's got everybody coming into your event. Well, Miss Betty, she slips on that strawberry and she breaks her leg. The strawberry vendor doesn't have his own insurance. The business owner who is hosting the event has to be responsible for it, and that claim would roll up to his or her general liability. Now, having that happen can definitely cause an increase in your overall premiums, potentially getting dropped from your insurance for having unsafe business practices, and that's not a risk that you really want to take on just for hosting an event, which is why it is very, very good practice that if you are an event planner or you're hosting multiple events, that you require your vendors to carry their own general liability insurance so that they can be responsible for any liability or injuries that they cause. Now, let's take a deeper look at what continues to go on with this Miss Betty saga. Miss Betty got an infection in her leg after she broke it, and she later succumbed to her injuries. Her family now sues the strawberry vendor. She sues the business owner who threw the event, and she sues Good Day Columbus for wrongful death. Boy, oh boy, that got out of hand really, really quickly. In the event that no one had any insurance, this business who handled the event and the vendor would have to come up with the cost of defense to go to court. And then, if they were found to be liable, they'd be responsible for creating a way to pay Miss Betty's family for wrongful death. Having a general liability policy in place is going to assist you with providing those payouts to the family and not cause you to have to go out of business or file bankruptcy because you've run out of money to be able to pay for any claims. So, how much does it cost? Well, it really depends on the type of business that you have, what your annual revenue is, how many employees you have, the location of your business, what hours of operation you have, past claims, and sometimes your credit score could also be included in the cost of your overall insurance. Where should you buy it? Well, I think it's a great idea for you to talk to Jake from State Farm or whoever your local home and auto agent is. Whoever's currently helping you with your home and auto, they may be able to add on a home based business endorsement to your standard renters or homeowners policy. And that's a great way to be able to save money and be able to make sure your insurance fits within your budget. Now, most insurance companies are not going to get way too far off of just regular old everyday businesses with covering them at home. So they might cover you if you've got an office at home or maybe you've got a little bit of inventory, but if you've got some type of a really large establishment, something that typically shouldn't be run out of a home, they're likely going to say, no, we would pass on that. We'd like you to get some insurance somewhere else. So when you do that, we'd like to recommend that you consider talking to an insurance broker. Talking to an insurance broker is one way to guarantee that someone's going to be working for you on your behalf. When you go directly to an insurance company that you may see on the street with the storefront, if they've got one name on their storefront, chances are they're only able to sell a product from that one particular company. And we like to use this common reference that it's impossible to go to McDonald's and get a Whopper just because they can't sell it. You can get a Big Mac all day, but you cannot get a Whopper from McDonald's. And the same thing is in insurance. Now, there may be some other products or services that are out there that the storefront insurance company doesn't have to offer you, and they're not able to sell it to you because it's on someone else's platform. A broker is going to work directly for you. They're going to understand your business, they're going to understand your budget, and they're going to be able to take that information on typically one application and go out and shop your insurance through multiple different carriers to find you the absolute best coverage and the best price. Now, I'd like to caution new business owners from buying insurance online. There are many important aspects about your business that can easily get overlooked when you're buying from a robot. They may not understand the way your business works, all the nuances, who your customers are, and important coverages could easily be left out. You could be a tree trimmer, but accidentally buy a policy for a house painter, and then when your claim comes in, it wouldn't be covered because you accidentally purchased the wrong policy by buying online. So, we definitely want you to consider purchasing from a professional. Always check with who you're already dealing with because I think that's a great place if you can get an endorsement added in. But after that, we always recommend that you look into using an insurance broker. And there's no cost to use an insurance broker for the most part. So you won't get charged up front. Insurance brokers are paid directly from the company that they make their purchases with. And sometimes they do charge a small brokerage fee depending on the amount of time that it required them to do the research. But in most cases, you're going to be still saving a lot more money by using a broker to look for coverage that's more comprehensive and affordable for you. So that is the end of our presentation. And I am representing today on the behalf of the Han Enterprise Insurance and Financial Services. My name is Nicole A. Simpson, MBA, CFEI, and I go by the Urban Cash Coach. Feel free to reach out to me at 614-808-4735. You can contact me at nsimpson at thehaninsurance with an e.com or nsimpson at gofundyourlife.com. Urban Cash Coach on Facebook and Instagram. And you can always contact us for any and all of your insurance needs, including home, auto, life, health, and disability. We look forward to working with you and helping you to grow your business. And we're super excited to know that you're taking the first steps in entrepreneurship. Thanks so much.